welcome to Saving Face, the podcast. I'm the host, Rosie Burnham, and I'm here with my good friend Dennis. Welcome, Dennis.
Thank you.
So, Dennis, today we're going to do some face masks, and we're going to drink our cold beverages, and we're going to talk about living in Taiwan. So, you have been here for a while, right?
I have been here for quite a while, yeah. I think altogether about 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
Wow. So that makes you're the winner so far of guests I've had on this podcast of how long you've been here.
It's right there.
So you left and came back, right? Once or twice?
I left twice, actually. I was here for a year, and then I kind of didn't like it. I didn't like my job, and I decided it was kind of like a midnight fleeing. I remember I stole a basketball from the...
You stole a basketball?
I stole a basketball from the school that I was leaving. I don't know why. I don't even play basketball.
Did you take it with you when you left?
No, I left it in my... I just didn't want them to have it.
So it wasn't a stealing for gain. It was a stealing for someone else's
screw
loss.
you. I'm going to take your basketball.
Okay.
But yeah, so then I left. But I did have a few friends at that point, and I said to them, if you hear of any good jobs, I like Taiwan, and I would come back if there's something lined up. And then, yeah, I was only back home for maybe 4 to 6 weeks, maybe. And yeah, I got a call and came back. And then the second time I left, I went back to Canada for Teachers College, but then I decided to travel in Europe for about a year, and then I did a year in Canada, and then ended up then 2 years in the Middle East working, and then I ended up coming back to Taiwan.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's sticky. That's what when I was moving here, everyone said on the internet, they said Taiwan is sticky because people can't actually leave it.
I love it. I love Taiwan, and particularly Tainan. Love the community here. It's a wonderful place to live, so I'm very happy to be back. I was really excited when I got the job where you and I work together, so yeah.
Sweet. Well, before we do our face masks, I want to ask you, what brought you to Taiwan in the first place?
Oh, man. Well, you know what? You probably don't even know this about me, but I went into law school.
Really?
I got accepted into law school, and I thought I was going to be a lawyer and all this crap, and then one semester in, I didn't like anyone I met there. I didn't like being in law school. I just hated everything about it. And there were a lot of expectations. I was dating a girl at the time, and her dad started talking to me about getting into politics and shit. I was like, why would I want to be a dirty piece of shit liar? And he's like, I'm in politics. I'm like, oh, all right then. I remember talking to him about that. Yeah, and that ended, and then I dropped out of law school. The relationship ended, and I didn't really have any money, so I started driving forklift, and I did that for about 3 months, so I had enough. I think I had $1,000 and I was like, yeah. And I had heard a friend of mine had a friend who lived in Taipei, and he's like, yeah, it's, like it sounds from him that it's a really cool place to live. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, well, let's check that out. And then I went online and got a hold of some recruiter, and she said, yeah, there's a job at an all-girls high school in Tainan. I'm like, okay, good. I hope I don't end up in jail. But but yeah, let's try that. So that was pretty crazy. It really was. Like the first time I walked into a classroom, and now I'm a teacher all of a sudden, and there's like, I swear to God, there's like 45 girls. And they all stood up when I walked in, and I was on crutches.
What?
Which is another story. That's another story. I was on crutches when I came to Taiwan, and I crutched in, and I remember I had a Canadian flag, and I was going to talk about, like, Canada and, like, ask me questions.
You came in right away with a Canadian flag?
I came with a Canadian flag, yeah. I was like, they're going to probably want to know their teacher, right? So I'll just bring the Canadian flag, and we'll talk about Canada and talk about who I am, and a very egotistical first lesson. But let's get back to the broken foot.
Okay,
let's get back to the broken foot. This is an amazing, pretty cool story. I like the story a lot. So I was playing slow pitch baseball, and we were at the beer garden. We had just lost our first matches. I think it was like about 10 a.m. Mm-hmm. And we're drinking beers. We were drinking beers naturally. At 8 a.m. actually, but we continued drinking beers after the loss. And, like, we were a table over from the team that we had just lost to. So, all of a sudden, we're drinking beers, and this girl starts jumping up on the table, and she starts doing backflips off the table onto the ground, off this picnic table, right?
That's impressive.
And I'm sitting there with the losing team, and we're all just like, and now they're like, fuck, they just beat us, and now this chick's doing fucking gymnastics, like showing us up, right?
Wait, was she on the team? The team?
She was on the other team that we
I
lost to, right?
And now she's showing up.
So I'm like, okay, I got to bring these boys up, right? I gotta. Morale is down, so I say to
You
the
took it upon
boys,
yourself.
right? I was like, I am gonna cheer these boys up. I was like, you know what? She's not the only one who can do backflips off a picnic table.
She was.
Yeah, apparently
tell
she
you now.
was. She was. And I found out later that she was actually a gymnast. So, anyways, I was like, okay, I can do back. I mean, I've done backflips into water. I can do this. So I get up on the picnic table, finish my beer. I'm like, all right, boys. And what my buddy Jamie's like, you want me to catch you? I'm like, get the fuck away from me, bro. I'm gonna land on my feet. It's all gonna. And I did land on my feet. I landed on my feet, but I heard the crack of the bones when I landed. And yeah, I broke 3 bones in my foot, and it was very painful. And yeah, I had to go to the hospital and do the cast and the whole thing. And that was like just a few weeks before I was supposed to go to Taiwan. So yeah, so I was on the flight, and the stewardess was really nice. She gave me a seat with an empty seat next to it, so I could keep my foot elevated and going over there. And that's when I finally started research Taiwan, when I was on the flight over.
When you were on the plane.
Yeah, I was like, oh, everyone speaks Mandarin Chinese there. That's interesting.
Who knew?
Wow. I'm like, oh, their national holiday is 10/10. That's my birthday. I'm like, wow.
That's your birthday?
Yeah, it's my birthday.
What? I never knew that was your birthday.
So I was really excited about that. Like, a couple more screwdrivers. Like, let's get this party started. So yeah, I was pretty drunk by the time I landed in Taipei, and it was cool.
So was it like super painful? Because I had a teacher who we did like an overseas trip, and she had an ankle issue, and she said it was super painful on the flight, because like they tell you to put your feet up anyway, even if you don't have any issues, because the circulation on that long flight over can like really make your ankles hurt and stuff. Was it like excruciating?
No, I was drunk. So
so
it was
a
fine. Very pain-free experience.
Have I told you the story about how I was on crutches and broke my ankle?
No.
I haven't?
I don't think so.
This is a fun story.
Okay.
It was before I moved to Taiwan, so
right.
It's kind of off topic, but
cool.
It's fine. They like off topic.
Yeah.
All 9 of our listeners. So
right.
So when I was like 19 and I was in college. It was like the first summer after my first year of college, and I went back to my hometown to go camping with like a bunch of my old high school friends. We were all meeting up, and so we drove up this mountain that we always used to like hang out and go camping at. And an ex-boyfriend was there, and I really wanted to impress him and show him how cool I was. And so, close. Get as drunk as I can off of a 7-Eleven slushie full of vodka, thanks to my friend Katie.
Beautiful.
Yes, and then because I drank a slushie this big, full of slushie and vodka, I had to pee more than I've ever had to pee in my entire life. And by that time it was dark, and we had like a campfire going, but it's still like, you know, the mountains, and it's dark, and I'm afraid of the dark. So I was like,
Say that again?
The dark is scary. You don't know what's in there.
You're right.
So
okay.
I was pretty drunk, and I wasn't entirely certain that I wasn't going to get lost if I like went out to pee in the woods behind a tree somewhere.
Yeah.
So there was like this huge boulder, and I was like, how about if I just walk to the other side of the boulder and pee, and then come back and I can like use the boulder as a place to like hold on to the whole time so I won't get lost.
So you found a boulder to lean on.
Yes, I did. I sure did.
Good.
You could say that it was my rock in that
so far,
situation.
so good. Yeah.
So I'm walking, and I'm holding onto the boulder, and somebody makes a joke behind me about the ex-boyfriend, and I turn to laugh at the joke to show how cool I am, and did not realize, because it was dark, and I was drunk, and I was turning around to laugh, did not realize that the ground in front of me just stopped. And so what I did is I kept walking, and I just plummeted off of a cliff.
Oh my God.
And like just straight down. So later, my friends were like, if we weren't terrified, that was the funniest thing we've ever seen, because you were laughing, super drunk, and then you just dropped and were gone.
Wow.
And so it ended up being really, really lucky, because one of my friends had just gotten back from lifeguard camp and knew how to like do first aid, and so she came and like helped me pop my ankle back into place and like carry me back up.
Jesus.
And she like held me up while I peed, because I was like looking up, so I fell, and I didn't even know that anything was wrong at first. I just like I was mostly worried about my ribs, because I like scratched it on the way down hitting some rocks or something.
Right.
And that's what hurt the most, and I didn't even feel my ankle at first. And so they were all freaking out. I was like, it's fine, it's not broken, what are you guys talking about? And my friend like was holding me up, and I'm looking up, and everyone's staring at me, and all I can think is, I really have to pee still. I'm gonna wet my pants, but I can't stand up. And so bless her heart, my friend Shannon helped me like go around the other side and held me up while I peed, and then like. So the cliff is here, but then if you go a little bit over here, it goes back up in like just a smooth hill. So she walked me up. Yeah, she walked me up, and I was hobbling. So it was lucky for me that she had just gotten back from like a medical lifeguard camp. Mm-hmm. It was also lucky my friend who had driven us up there, and he borrowed his dad's car because it was bigger, and his dad's a physical therapist, so they had like a leg splint and like an ace bandage and all this stuff in the back. Wow. So they were able to wrap me up, and then
perfect place to fall off a
cliff. I'm the luckiest in the whole world. And then
I don't know about that.
there was one person on the mountain who was sober, which is the other lucky thing.
Wow, you had a sober person too?
Sober person too. Now, here's the catch, though, is that the sober person was the ex's best friend, and they had driven together in the ex's car, so the ex had to come with.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So.
And you were like, this is your fault.
Yes. So I'm in the back of the car, and it was only like 11 o'clock at night. It wasn't even that late. And I hadn't told my parents that I was coming back to my hometown to get drunk. Sorry, Mom. I know you're one of our 9 listeners, but I didn't tell you that I was coming home. And so my poor mother opened the door and saw like some high school friends that she hadn't seen in a while, and they're all drunk, and they're like, Rosie's in the car. And so, we went to the hospital, and it was fine. But yeah, I had to do the whole crutches thing too.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And that was like college, the first year in college?
Yeah.
Or? Jeez.
Yeah, and I just like, it was my ankle, but it was like a clean break because it was just, I just stepped and it was the pressure of like landing on that foot.
Oh,
I just dropped the whole way down.
And ankles don't heal so easily.
No, it's still puffier than the other one. But.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, I'm not trying to one-up you, but
no,
I had a very similar experience, except I didn't get hurt.
Okay, so you're luckier than me.
We were drinking and driving, as we did when we were like kids. We were drinking and driving as teenagers, and we went to this gravel pit, and we were stopped. I remember we were listening to music. I think we were listening to Guns N' Roses at the time, and I remember going out to piss, and I pissed, and then I was talking to some guy, and I pretended like we were wrestling a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. And I took a step back, and there was no ground there. So that's why I'm telling this story. It's like the same thing, the feeling when you think there's ground and there isn't.
And there's not ground.
And I just fell, and I don't really know. Like, I've been back there. I think maybe it's about, I don't know how many feet or meters it is, but it's a decent fall. I landed on my back, and I remember looking next.
How are you alive?
I remember looking next to me, and there was this massive boulder, like the one that you were leaning on to piss. Right, like if I had landed on that boulder, things would not have been quite so nice. And then, as drunk as I am, I tried crawling back up. They're like, stop that, we're coming down. And like you, there was a path that goes down.
They're like, we'll take this route.
Yeah, so my question is, why didn't we, if we wanted to go down there, why didn't we just take the path down there?
I didn't want to go down anywhere. I didn't know that halfway around a boulder, there was no ground anymore.
Right.
I thought the ground would continue all the way around. I'd have a nice little pee, and then I could come right back.
The earth is flat, Rosie. There are edges.
If the earth was flat, I would just keep going. The earth is bumpy and unexpected.
Right.
Right.
I guess you're not a flat earther.
I could be convinced, but I have not yet been convinced.
No, neither.
Takes some work.
Yeah.
All right, should we put on our face masks?
Yes.
Okay, so which one did you pick out? What are we doing today?
I picked out this beauty right here. Well, with your advice.
You're holding it right behind the microphone.
Sorry. I picked out this beauty right here. Because it's blue. That's the main reason why I picked it.
Trash is here.
Oh, there's the car. You know you're in Taiwan when you hear that.
I want to figure out how to have that as like the transition music for this podcast.
Oh, you can figure that out.
Right?
Yeah. I have total faith in you.
Thank you. All right, sorry to interrupt. So you've got this.
This is what I picked. It's a clay mask, anti-stress. As you can see, I'm pretty stressed out right now. And Dead Sea minerals. And that's another story. The Dead Sea. What an amazing place. It's amazing. It's so salty that you cannot sink. And it's super floaty. I remember like laying in that. I ran out of time, so I like paid this taxi driver to just drive me there. And like on the way there, I was like, "Listen, I want to go where there aren't any like tourists. I want to find like a little." He's like, "No problem." So went down there, and I asked him also, like, "Have you ever floated in the Dead Sea? What's it like?" He's like, "I've never been." I'm like, "You're floating in the Dead Sea." So I got my taxi driver floating in the Dead Sea with me. It was so amazing. And I remember like sitting, like I'm at my fucking work desk, and like sitting, like you would sit at an office fucking cubicle, and I'm sitting there just floating. Like
What?
I tried swimming down, and you can't. It's just like it's
That's
because it's so salty.
amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. You just like you don't even have to try to float. You just jump in, and you're like floating.
So do they call it the Dead Sea because everyone's like dead bodies floating in the top of it when they go swimming?
I would love to answer that with the affirmative, but no, they'd call it the Dead Sea because nothing lives in there because it's too salty. Okay. Yeah.
I think the other one's more fun.
Yeah, you're right.
That's why I decided it's called the
Just
Dead
call
Sea.
me No Fun Dennis all day long.
I'll call you Fact Dennis. You know all the facts. I like fake facts.
Right. Cool.
All right, and I'll be doing also a clay mask, but this one has avocado and oatmeal, and it's purifying, and it's not from the Dead Sea. I don't know where it's from. All right, so
it's avocado, yeah.
It's avocado and oatmeal. So my face is gonna be green, and your face is gonna be blue.
Blue and green should never be seen except on Halloween.
I don't know what that means.
It means what it
means. This is the second time you've sung this to me. But why? What's wrong with other days of
I don't know. I really don't know. My mom used to say that.
Like...
My mom used to say blue and green just like super clash. You can't wear them together.
What? But
that's my mom. This is like 1980s, Rosie.
I feel like those are pretty 1980s
Does I have one?
colors.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, you can have.
Right?
Saving that one for you.
Sweet. Oh yeah.
But you're gonna have to make it not on your forehead because the mask needs to go there.
Up?
Yeah.
Go up.
There you go.
Oh, that looks retarded. Okay, well.
It's fine.
Yeah.
That's the point. Is that this is a humbling experience because we don't look
okay?
good. Yeah. You're not gonna get it up here though. You're okay.
Okay.
So you've never done a face mask before, is that correct?
No, yeah, that's
All right.
correct.
So what you want to do is just put a thin layer of this goopy stuff. Just.
Bet you say that to all the guys.
Did I not mention that my mother is probably listening to this right now?
Great for the skin.
And you put it all over it. Dennis, we're going to have to cut your episode.
Edit.
Okay.
Abort.
And then you put it, and then you see, like this. And actually, I'm saying you see, but I have to take my glasses off for this, and I'm super blind, so I don't actually know if I'm doing this right.
I was under the impression that you were going to do this, but you
want
want
me
me to do
I'm not
this.
going to put it on your face.
Oh, jeez. Okay. So I have to put it on my own?
Oh,
wow, that was a long one. That's a long one. Did you say that to all the guys?
You said it to yourself?
It's like war paint.
Well, okay.
Love it.
Sure.
Oh, it feels good already.
Yeah, see? It's going to be nice. Ooh, you're nice and blue.
Wow, Smurf-tastic.
Mine's a little bit more mint. I thought it was going to be like this bright green of the bottle, but it's like a minty green.
Oh, it's cooling already. It's not my imagination, right?
It's not. I don't think. I'm not experiencing that face mask. So. Let's hope it's not an allergic reaction. That would be probably a pretty popular episode.
Just call it.
Let's go viral.
What would we call it? My dick hurts with Dennis.
Well, now that's what I have to call it anyway.
So can I leave? Okay.
So don't put it in your eyes.
Don't? You said don't, right?
Don't put it in your eyes. But you can, so this like bridge your nose area you can do also.
Well, I must say that is something else. That's nice, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you do masks?
Well, because it's cool.
Right. But how does it
I started a skincare podcast. I don't know anything about skincare, so.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you're pretending.
I'm pretending.
Right. But you have a lot of masks for a pretender.
Get it? Saving face? Do you
get it? I get the pun.
Yeah, that's why.
Fun, saving face. And we are saving our faces. Right
we are saving our faces.
Years off, wrinkles off.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right, so now I have
My mask
all
looks
over.
way better than yours.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
Amazing. I am just amazing.
So I have mask all over my fingers now.
Yeah, me too.
So why don't we just pause real quick?
Okay, have a ciggy.
Have a ciggy. and rinse.
My little friends, my little ciggies.
and then we'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh, bye. Okay, bye. So welcome back. We are back. You had your ciggy.
I had my little friend.
We don't.
And I just want to, before we start, again, I wanted to just mention that I love your mother. And I'm so happy that she took time in her vacation in Taiwan to come to my wedding. And I hope she had a great time. And I just want to, shout out to her, thank you.
Can you tell that we talked about that?
Yeah.
When we paused?
No. No, you can't tell.
You can't tell?
No.
No,
that was not planned.
Seamless. That was a seamless transition.
It was beautiful.
Thank you for leading us seamlessly back into this conversation.
Yeah.
So, Dennis, you mentioned earlier that you had left a couple times, Taiwan you'd left, and come back.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to talk to you today about, culture shock and what it felt like for you when you first arrived versus coming back versus going back home or moving to a new place and kind of the different ways that has felt for you.
It's a very interesting dynamic. It really is. The first time I went back to Canada after being in Taiwan, all I could talk about was Taiwan. And how things were so different. It annoyed the shit out of people. People did not care. They did not want to hear at all. And each time I went back to Canada, I talked less and less about. And now when I go back to Canada, I don't speak about my travels at all unless someone fucking directly asks me, where have you been? What have you done? How was it? But if they don't ask me, I don't mention it. I'm more into whatever they're into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. People they don't want to know.
They don't because I mean, no offense to anyone, but sometimes I think they feel like, man, I haven't done anything.
Yeah, either that's part of it, or either that, or they just don't. They're not interested in traveling, which I think is something that you and I can't understand.
Well, yeah, they can't put themselves there, right?
Yeah.
They don't really know. I mean, but some people are, and that's cool. Some people are very interested, and some people ask me a lot of questions about it, which I think is really cool. So, what was the question? The original question?
Culture shock. So, when you first came here, what were some of the most shocking things for you?
Well, right now it's not that polluted here. Mm-hmm. The air is pretty clean right now. Maybe, thank you, COVID. But it was pretty bad for years here. It was the air pollution that's the number one con, I think, about living here.
I agree.
And I remember coming out of the airport in Vancouver and just taking a deep breath and my lungs hurt. It was they were like, what the hell is that? Just going in there oh,
can't breathe.
Jeez. Yeah. So there's that. And then the blue sky. I mean, the skies have been blue recently. Mm-hmm. Again, COVID. But
not like home.
No, and it used to be kind of you get home and you see, especially when you get back on the prairies. I'm from Manitoba, Canada, and it's just flat prairie land, and the sky is so big and so blue and so beautiful. And you have farmland, mustard seed and canola fields and alfalfa and just beautiful colors. Mm-hmm. And you can see forever, and just the sky is so big, and it's just being back on the farm, going back down the driveway to my dad's farm is pretty amazing. My dad telling me, my dad knows how many oak trees he has on an 80-acre property.
Wow.
Yeah. He's there was 330, and I think he lost 19 that year or something. He's telling me, yeah, he lost 19 trees. It was just such an amazing, amazing thing that he knows how many trees are on his property.
Yeah. So when you went back the first time, because I'm from Colorado, which is also very beautiful and spacious and open and huge.
I haven't been, but I would love to go to Colorado.
It's beautiful, and I always knew it was beautiful, but I didn't really know how beautiful it was until I came back after a year of living here, and I came back to visit my first summer after living here, and I was after I got off the plane and I was looking around at the sky, I'm holy shit, I live in a beautiful place. So was it like that for you?
It was. It really was. I mean, but when I come back to Taiwan, I also see that.
Yeah.
I also see that. So I think just the change, the being in one place and then going to another place and coming back to that place, change is the variety is really nice in life. I think in general, and like when you go to a different place, it's always like that. But when you go home, it's sometimes you realize, holy shit, yeah, like you said, it's. I live in a beautiful goddamn. I live in a beautiful place too, and a lot of people, even in Canada, are like, "Oh, that's like the shittiest place to live in all of Canada." But I don't think so. I think it's beautiful. But I have heard amazing things about Colorado, and I've seen pictures, and it's one. I think Montana is the number one state I want to go to, but Colorado might be second as far as like just like beautiful states that I would like to visit.
It is beautiful. Man, the mountains are so good.
Yeah.
So what about like your relationships with people? Like when you came back, were you surprised at like the friends that weren't really interested in catching up versus like the ones that did want to catch up, or like how?
Do you mean going back home? Or
going back home. Like after you'd lived here the first time, and then like when you went back to visit Canada.
Right. The list gets shorter each time. Like at first, I wanted to see everybody, so I was just like a day here, a day there, a day here, and that's really tough because everybody wants to drink with you. So like. They're like, yes, party on. Like, they don't realize that it's like day 18 for you, and it's like day 1 for them, right? So it's just, you just beat the shit out of your body. All my friends drink, right? So, I mean, when I go back to my parents' place, they're super religious, and they don't drink very much. Like, they'll have a drink, right? But it's nice. It's a nice rest to go back to the farm.
Detox.
And detox at the farm for, 5-6 days. It's really nice. And I brought my lovely wife there, my girlfriend at the time, but I brought her there. She's been there twice now, and it was pretty amazing to see the prairies through her eyes.
Yeah.
And we actually traveled right across Canada, so we saw like a lot of Canada.
Wow.
Right across from like the west coast to the east coast.
So did she have any like? Were there any things that she noticed, or like any insights that she had that kind of like changed your perspective on Canada, like seeing it through her eyes?
The stars.
Oh,
the
really?
Stars. She had, she's a pretty good photographer, so she has like, she knows how to take, she took this picture of the Milky Way that is amazing. And she took a picture of Mars, and she took a picture of the moon, which was fucking amazing. And it was just, so we're sitting out, there's a lot of mosquitoes out there. That's one thing that she really didn't like. But like we tried to lather ourselves down.
Too,
there are, but not like Manitoba. Like sometimes in the summer in Manitoba, you're like afraid to speak. Because, like, you open your mouth and, like, 6 fly in.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. So, yeah, I can see why people are like, yeah, Manitoba, fuck that. But, yeah, it was fun. Her favorite place in Canada was Montreal. She really loved Montreal. And I loved Montreal, too. It's a beautiful city. So, people are cool there. It's a very international city. A lot of people think it's, like, just French people, but it's not. It's a super international place. I remember we went to the pub. And I really wanted to see this hockey game. It was the Montreal Canadiens against the Boston Bruins. And I was cheering for the Boston Bruins. And, like, everyone in the pub was giving me, the fucking sideways. There was an older lady sitting next to me. And she started building a wall with, like, salt and pepper shakers between us. It was, like, pretty funny.
Get away.
But then, randomly, we decided to walk home. And we found this, like, cool bar where people were, like, swing dancing. And Pearl and I got on the dance floor. And it might have been one of the most fun Canadian nights that we had because we were just sweat. Not at all. Not at all. It was like arm hooked, like fucking swinging around, picking her up. So cool. But we took over the dance floor.
Yeah,
like no skills at all.
I can envision it.
Nothing but enthusiasm.
That's all you need, really. You need the spirit of dancing.
What a great night that was.
Wow. Hi guys, it's me, Rosie. I've just been going through the editing process of my conversation with Dennis, and it turns out we talked for like a long time, and I'm really not willing to cut any of the things that Dennis had to say because he had a lot of really funny stories and really like valuable insights. So what I'm going to do this time, because I'm the boss and I get to make the rules of this podcast, is that I'm going to split it in half. So lucky you get 2 episodes with Dennis. This will be the end of episode 1. I'm going to cut it off here. When we come back next week, you'll hear a lot about Dennis's experiences living in the Middle East and how he feels about that compared to his time in Taiwan. So you can look forward to that. And in the meantime, if you have things that... Whoa. There's a thunderstorm. There's a thunderstorm outside. Sorry. What was I saying? I really shouldn't have a podcast. I have ADHD and I can never remember anything that I'm saying. Oh, if you have other things to ask or other things you wish that we would talk about on the pod, You can go ahead and send us those questions on Instagram. We are on Instagram at savingfacethepodcast, or you can send me an email at savingfacethepodcast@gmail.com. So yeah, if you have any questions or any topics you'd like us to cover, or if you are an expat or someone living abroad or someone wanting to live abroad and you want to be a guest, you can reach me there also. As for the next episode, definitely tune into that because Dennis has a lot of fun things to say. So until then, I'll see you next week, and hope you enjoyed the video aspect of our podcast today if you're watching and not just listening this time. Have a great day. Bye.
My dick hurts with Dennis.